Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Dashamsa video of the week. And that's because today is the day I wanted to make the Dashamsa video. That's why. And it's Friday, so I'm enjoying a cigar. Because I only enjoy cigars now. A couple of days a week to 3 days a week, So anyway, today we're going to be covering Cancer Ascendant in the Dashamsa chart. And what happens when you have a Cancer Ascendant rising in your D10 chart, which is the obligation to society, which represents your workspace, and what is it that you have to perform, how you're going to perform things in your life, which are to give you sustenance, which are to give you a certain, clearance in your debt. And that's Dashamsa, And if you do not know what ascendant you have in your Dashamsa D10 chart and your other divisional charts, including your birth chart, for that, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, consultations, and link to my academy, Vedic Astrology Academy, where I teach ascendant through nakshatras, planets through nakshatras, and everything else regarding Vedic astrology that you would want to know. So anyway, let's start with Cancer Ascendant. So Cancer Ascendant, the very first thing that you will notice, and I know what you might be thinking that he will say. I might say that, but there's something more important. Cancer Ascendant people in Dashamsa though play the most politics in their work. They are the ones who know how to control everything, everyone, to attain what they want. And how do they do that? How does a woman keeps the children in control in the neighborhood? She gives them cookies, milk, orange juice, right? It's a saying in US at least. And so, as much as Cancer Ascendant represents that nourishment, overly taking care of things, okay? But in Dashamsa, it has a different meaning. In Dashamsa, it shows that needingness to control things through your ability to nourish people. And this is why they can pretty much hypnotize people with their nourishment. They can hypnotize people with their ability to nourish anything and anyone. So that's something you will see, and they become extremely selfish with their career. Cancer Ascendant is not the type of ascendant where you can say, well, they will give their position to anybody. They will give their position for anyone. That they will treat everybody like their children. No, because you got to remember one thing. Cancer represents the mother, right? And a mother is probably the most selfish person. She will make sure that her child is fed, her child is protected, her child is taken care of before she does anything to you. So if there was famine and there was 2 pieces of bread, okay, she's going to make sure that her child feels full first before giving anything to herself, the husband, or the person outside who's almost about to die because they haven't had food. So what happens in the Dashamsa? The person will look out for themselves first before anything else. They're going to be all about, hey, how do I retain this? How do I attain this? How do I keep this? I want this first. Because you're trying to nourish your karmas first. So that's the first thing that will happen. Also, they'll have a major karma to pay with subordinates. They'll have major karma, like for example, you may have to deal with a subordinate that you can get rid of, but you're gonna have to deal with them. Like for example, the boss's son or the boss's daughter is put under you because they just started. And they're gonna be there for 5-6 months learning under you, but they're very arrogant, they're very show-offy. They actually want to be your boss and act like they're your boss, and you can't really say anything because the boss himself or herself may not like you so much. But they're just okay. They're like, yeah, you can teach them this. Do it. And if you complain to them about their children, oh boy, you could get fired. So you're stuck. There is I'm just giving you a scenario of the type of karma you'll have to deal with. And most definitely, one thing you will see, they will be embarrassed at one point in front of a large group of people. They will face some kind of a humiliation at workspace. And it's not going to be so big, but they will make it too big for themselves. They'll make it big for themselves. It could be anything. It could be something about your personal life that gets leaked in, your workspace, and people just kind of make fun of you because, it's funny, but you're taking it personally. And also, one thing we see is that you will, if you have a Cancer Ascendant in Dashamsha, it's going to have a very different avenue and meaning if you were to study Dashamsha or Cancer Ascendant in your Dwadashamsha or Chaturtatamsa. So in Dashamsha shows that a person will make a big blunder with their finances in their career. But one thing we also see is that they receive the fame as well. Now, fame is a very delicate thing because fame and defamation or defame are not far apart. So fame can be anything. And infamous is the opposite of fame. So those things, they have to be looked at, but fame comes in for Cancer Ascendant in Dashamsha. Sometimes huge amount of fame comes in. Like for example, you take the CEO of AMD. I believe she's Chinese woman, 60 years old, who took AMD from $2 a share to now almost $60, $55 a share. And they're now bigger than Intel. I never knew about any of this until her interview was just suggested to me on YouTube. So I watched it and I'm like, wow, fascinating. Very humble, very down-to-earth woman. But now she's like one of the most powerful female CEOs in the world, the most powerful. And not powerful as in arrogant. Like, no, her intelligence is so brilliant and she's such a humble person that boom, it just rises. So fame comes in. And such people are very calculative. When they communicate with you, when they say something to you at work, now they may be completely different in their real life. They may be completely different in their marriage. They may be completely different with their children. But when it comes to the workspace, they are very calculative as to what they want to say, what they should say. They don't just just say anything. No, everything is calculative to make sure that they have some advantage through that communication. And usually such people always have a lot of support system. They find a lot of support system. They find a lot of professional network circles that are able to help them. And that is because of their hypnotic charisma and charismatic personality. And people will always be attracted to dealing with them. But one thing we see is that once Bhagya Uday happens in their career after marriage, and especially after establishment of home, Once they have signed the deed to their home with the Cancer ascendant in Dashamsha, you will see immediately the profession will start giving you more leverage. The profession will start giving you more name and fame and power. Marriage becomes very important for them. But one thing they will also lack is mentor and counselors at work. Especially if that work is analytical, calculative, deals with the real world. There will be some karma obstacle in having a mentor and a guru. They will get a guru and a mentor at work early on, but they'll be oblivion. The guru themselves won't know what they're doing. Only later on, by much struggle and dealing with a lot of debts in their life, paying off a lot of karmic debts, then the guru comes in for them. Then we also see that such people will always be the one to start projects in their work. They always will jump into starting their projects in whatever avenue of work they're in. And especially such people get very young bosses, very young, authorities, very aggressive, very masculine authorities in their workspace if they are not in their own business. Now, this particular ascendant cannot just say, well, if you're going to be doing a business or a job. No, if you had a, let's say, Cancer ascendant in the birth chart, then we can say this person is more inclined towards doing business. But when it comes to Dashamsa and Ascendant, that's something only based on planetary placement. And especially when it comes to business versus job, Moon chart becomes more important. Moon chart becomes really important, which I'll discuss someday. But anyway, guys, this was my analysis of Cancer Ascendant in Dashamsa chart. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And if you want to know where your Dashamsa Ascendant is or what are planet placements you have, check out the links here in the shop sections. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.